We now get underway with our penultimate pre-final of the 2023 B&L Karting Series season. It's DD2 and DD2 Masters, Day 2 pre-final. Let's take a look at your starting grid. It's an SP Motorsport front row with Enzo Boll taking pole position by nearly a tenth and a half this morning in time qualifying. He'll have his Belgian teammate Tom Braken alongside. Maxim Drix and Nikita Genza will be on row number 2 ahead of David Maslakowicz from Poland, and Belgium's Mr. Uno Mars, Nicolas Guillaume. Nikolai Christensen and Karl Klebor making an all DD2 Masters row number 4. Completing the top 10 is the 451 of France's Jules Cousin and the 437 of Denmark's Carl Gustav Borgard. Jan Eckstein and Eder Schreiber make it an all German row 6. Dmitry Ostrovsky and Kian de Brandt, row 7. Jori Klebor and Dominic Hummels, row 8. And completing the 20-strong grid, the 567 of Germany's Andreas Neumann. And from the Czech Republic in 18th and 19th position, the 529 of Kamil Kubera and the 498 of Lukas Dolezal. Rounding out the 20-strong grid, it's Jan Frost in the 431 representing Poland. Right, we have had a little bit of a development going into turn 9. Nikita Genza has just broken down, so we'll have 19 competitors going into the start phase for the penultimate race of the season. Genza's kart is stricken on the outside of turn number 9. So the red lights are ignited on the gantry. Boll on pole. Braken alongside on the front row. Revs rise, are we ready? Lights are out first time, good start by the inside line. Courtesy of Dirix, who gets through on Braken into P2 as they hurtle into turn number 2 for the opening time. Nicolas Guillaume was trying to get through for third place off of Tom Braken, but not able to do it, but someone's gone off. Someone's big time gone off, was spinning around and sideways out of turn number 4. Yellow flags at Marshall post 2. Marshall running to the scene of the driver right now towards the inside part of the apex at turn number 5. So Nikita Genza out, has got the kart off of the circuit. The rest of the field are battling away, but at the moment Enzo Boll is leading the way. Maxim Drix in second. Tom Braken rounds out the top 3. Nicolas Guillaume, David Maslakowicz and Karl Klebor leads the way in DD2 Masters. A little bit further back, it was side by side, looks to be between Jules Cousin and Nikolai Christensen as Tom Braken makes his way through on Maxim Drix for the race lead, for the rest of the second position thereof. The race leader about 4.5 seconds up the road. It was Lennart Schreiber that got spat out exit stage left coming out of the exit out of turn number 4. So the 5-2-4 from Germany, his race has already gone by the wayside, I am afraid. And Dominic Hummels at the moment currently sitting. Well, the way things stand, Karl Klebor has a lead, and it's a big one. It's 38 points. If it goes 56 or above, well, it won't go above 56 points at this moment, I would gather, because there's only now 6 drivers in DD2 Masters. Through into turn 8, Enzo Boll has now got probably the best part of nearly half a second over his SP Motorsport teammate Tom Bracken. As they come out of turn number 9, Karl Klebor looking pretty handy here. Could be on the way to becoming the first ever person to win 4 titles in one class. And that is DD2 Masters. He's been competing in it for well over a decade and a bit. Has the man known as De Bakker, the fastest baker in Flanders. Haven't used that latter nickname in quite a time. But Boll, 6.5 tenths ahead of teammate Tom Bracken. At the moment, Bracken still leads by about, with drop scores taken into consideration for the pair. It's actually a little bit closer than I might think. Now with 9.5 minutes to go, we're about to complete lap number 4. We're down to 18 runners and riders. Nikita Genza didn't even take the start, and Lennart Schreiber out after turn 4 on lap 1. Not too sure if Lennart Schreiber was the recipient of contact coming out of turn number 4, but he definitely exited the circuit at a big old rate of speed. So leaders at the moment in DD2 Masters, it is Karl Klebor who is leading the way in 6th position, about 4 tenths behind David Maslakovic. And Jules Cousin is closing in on Klebor. Nikolai Christensen is there waiting in the wings, so 3's. They do say two's company, but 3 is definitely a crowd, especially if you're in the meet in a DD2 Masters sandwich, Jules Cousin. And Cousin round the outside. Christensen's going to make it 3 wide and has to slot back in behind the 502 from Belgium. Nikolai Christensen, however, was our kick-off champion from 2023 back in March of this year. So Cousin up to 6th. Doesn't really matter for Karl Klebor, just as long as he doesn't have a drama at this point. If he has a drama at this point, this is going to put him significantly down the order. So as I said, it's 55 points for a victory, 52 for second, 50 for third, 49 for fourth, 48 for fifth. So Karl Klebor, even if he scores 47 points in DD2 Masters, then he will still have a very, very big advantage over Dominic Hummels going into the final round of the final race of the season. But Enzo Boll looking to do a pretty good job. I mean, Tom Bracken took the clean sweep back at Ostikor in mid-August, the 12th and 13th of August this year. So we will see how he gets on to doing exactly the same as what his SP Motorsport teammate did, but keep your eyes on the boys from Sheepers Racing. Maxime Dirix and also Nicolas Guillaume, Mr. Uno Mas himself. So we are coming down to what will be the fact of 2 championships being decided at the last race of the season. I always have to say this, and I would rather that it, I always like the fact that titles go down to the wire. We've got a couple of them, well, we've got multiple of them going down to the wire this afternoon here at Karting Genk. But Enzo Bol has put in the fastest lap of the race. A 54.497. Make that now a new fastest lap, 54.432. He expands the gap between himself and Tom Bracken. So coming up to the final 5 minutes of the last of the pre-finals of this season. Bracken knows that all he needs to do is stay where he is. And at this moment, he is still ahead of, effectively, of Enzo Bol going into the final round of the season. Now we go on to lap number 10 into double digits, as Tom Bracken still finds himself about 9/10 of a second behind. Enzo Bol, fastest lap on lap 8, 54.432 seconds. And still the remaining 18 drivers rounded out by the Czech Republic's Lukáš Dolizal still running after 9 laps within 14.4 seconds of each other, from leader to the driver at the back end of the field. So, with just over 4 minutes to go, improvements from Karl Klebor, Nikolaj Christensen. So, Klebor back in the race lead, despite Nikolaj Christensen giving him a little bit of a scare. And another new fastest lap by our race leader, who expands his gap over his teammate to nearly a second. Enzo Bol, 54.384. They've gone with a different type of axle for this weekend, and pretty much has been the little tweak that Enzo Bol needed. But it's going to be very, very close indeed towards the tail end of the season. Temperature again climbing, the breeze battering the flags on the start-finish straight, which includes the flags of different nationalities as well as Mojo, XPS, Rotax and BNL. Lap 11 in the books. Another quick lap from Enzo Bol. Low 54.4s. Didix and Guillaume running in the 54.5s. The low 54.5s. David Maslakovic improves on lap time, so does Jules Cousin, so does Karl Klebor, so does Nikolaj Christensen. And the two DD2 Masters drivers at the sharp end, in 7th and 8th respectively, are separated by less than 2/10. There was an overtake attempted into turn number 7 off of the Europolan, and that has said to me Nikolaj Christensen gets past Karl Klebor for the DD2 Masters class lead. Still, even with that happening, Karl Klebor has, taking into consideration drop scores, he has a 35-point advantage after the drop scores taken into consideration, ahead of Dominic Hummels. Top 4 covered by just over 2 seconds, with Didix and Guillaume running pretty much to the same kind of pace. More improvements this time from Carl Gustav Borgard, who's all the way down in 13th overall. Dmitry Ostrovsky, who rounds out the top 3 in DD2 Masters, also has improved on lap time. But with 39 seconds on the clock to go after this, we will have one more additional lap. So, penultimate lap underway for the last pre-final of the season. And Enzo Bol has a lead of nearly 1.1 seconds over Tom Braken. Maxime Dirks and Nicolas Guillaume round out the top four. Nikolai Christensen ahead of Carl Klebor in the DD2 Masters running order of things in 7th and 8th respectively, as the 451 of Jules Cluzel leans to the right, pulling into the right-hand hairpin off of the Europalan. Timer has expired. And Enzo Bol looks to continue his winning run of form so far this weekend at Karting Genk. Tom Braken, let's not forget, came sprinting out of the blocks with 3 wins and a top 10 finish. But the last lap board now is shown. Enzo Bol sees it first. A little bit of an acknowledgement there to our flag marshal, as the drivers make their way around this 1,360 metre circuit. Big thank you to Hans de Klein, who is on the start-finish line. Through off of the Europalan for the final time, through turn number 8. Enzo Bol took pole position yesterday and picked up 2 wins. He's put it on pole again today, and he's on for win number 3 out of 4. Can he close out the season with a clean sweep? But at the moment, Enzo Bol strides nicely coming out of turn number 11, and he makes it 3 out of 3. The number 404 from SP Motorsport comes across the start-finish line to take the checkered and win the Day 2 pre-final ahead of SP Motorsport teammate Tom Braken. Maxime Dirks takes third ahead of Nicolas Guillaume, David Maslakovic, Jules Cousin, and to the line, Nikolai Christensen takes 7th ahead of Karl Klebor, Jan Eckstein, Kian de Brandt, Dimitri Ostrovsky, Carl Gustav Borgard, Jori Klebor, Dominic Hummels, Andreas Neumann, Camille Kubera, Jan Frost, and we're waiting for Lucas Dolezal to come across the line very, very shortly. He has done so. Lennart Schreiber and Nikita Genza unfortunately out. Genza out on the formation with a technical issue, and Lennart Schreiber off the circuit. Coming out of turn number 4, might have got a little bit of a turnaround assist, but it's flying formation at the front end of the field in DD2, courtesy of Enzo Bol and Tom Braken.